The following story took place in Norway in 2015. If the wording seems a bit off, it's because the story has been translated. I was called in for a night shift on Saturday at the gas station that I used to work at. I'm 19 years old and a guy. I'm pretty short, like 5'6", but I weigh around 190 pounds. Because my lifestyle almost only aims for both powerlifting and bodybuilding, depending on which time of the year it is, I got really mad that I got that shift because I need a good night's sleep. But whatever, I needed money anyway. I shaved my head clean like I do every second day while keeping my full beard and packed 3 decent meals for the shift. I went to work at 11 p.m. and the shift was going to last until 8 a.m. whilst being alone until 6 a.m. I don't mind working alone. Some people get paranoid and everything, but I myself have the kind of facial features and build that most people would not bother to mess with. Even though I'm a very, very nice person, it doesn't really look like I am. I had some customers while working, of course, a lot of drunk people. Since it's Saturday and in Norway, people tend to grab a burger or a hot dog at the gas station before heading home, others just there to fill up on gas. But later, at around 4 a.m. when it started to get more and more quiet, I saw a stressed out woman a few steps away from the door outside. I couldn't exactly tell what she looked like from behind the cashier desk, but I could tell that she was stressed out, standing with her arms crossed together while turning her head to the sides and turning around every now and then. I was considering to go out and ask if she needs any help, but I brushed it off and was thinking she was probably just waiting for someone. But then she looked inside and began to walk towards the entrance. She came inside, breathing in between normal and heavy, and she sat down. I greeted her with a smile, and I could tell immediately that she was a drug abuser, and that she was really stressed out. She was dressed with normal-looking clothes and looked like she was in her 20s. She kindly responded with, "Hey," with an obvious fake smile where you could tell that this person is sad behind the mask that they're putting on. She then came to the desk, asking if she could borrow my phone to call her boyfriend. She said that there were people following her and that they wanted her hurt or dead. The following conversation goes on like this. "Are they looking for you? Like right now?"
Yes. Please let me borrow your phone.
"Sure thing, but wouldn't it be better if I called the cops for you?"
No, please. All I need is to borrow your phone for a quick call.
Long story short, I told her to go sit down at a specific corner of the station where there was no glass wall so that people wouldn't be able to see her. She called her boyfriend 2 or 3 times, but nobody responded. She kindly asked me if she can log into Facebook with my phone, to see if maybe she could contact him there. I was kind of unsure about this, but I am by natural reasons very humble, maybe a little too much. Another thing was that I was standing right behind her, so there was no unacceptable things that she could do without me seeing it. So I said, "Alright, you can log into your Facebook." I told her to use the Google Chrome app to go on Facebook and not the Facebook app itself, since I hate spending time logging in and out of my account on my phone. Call me a lazy bastard, whatever. She logged in, and long story short, no response on there either. She thanked me a lot for the help and was about to walk out. I asked her if she was sure about me calling the cops or not, but she was 100% positive about me not doing it, which was weird, I thought. "Okay, well, be safe," I told her. Later on into my shift, I turned my phone on only to find out that she forgot to log out from her Facebook on the Google Chrome app. Out of curiosity, I checked the messages, which I believe every other person would probably consider doing. The most recent conversation was obviously her boyfriend, I thought. But there was nothing about "come and pick me up" or even the slightest thing that made me believe that this was her boyfriend. I checked the others below. Every fucking conversation I checked, which was about 6 or 7 of them, was either about drugs or money. Meth, coke, heroin, codeine, you name it. As humble as I am, I just felt bad for her, and I logged out without judging. 2 days later, I'm at the gym doing some deadlifts when I get a call from a number that is not registered in my contacts. I picked up. "Hello, Alan speaking." "Hello, who are you?" "Who am I? You called me and I've already said my name. Who are you?" "You called me 2 days ago in the middle of the night." "No, I didn't." And then I remembered about the girl calling her boyfriend at the gas station 2 days ago. Oh wait, I remember. I don't know her name, but I assume you have a girlfriend? Then I went on to explain the situation. You may think, how the hell didn't I know her name when I had her Facebook logged into my Chrome app, but I simply didn't bother to remember it. He then responded that he didn't have a girlfriend. Surprisingly, this didn't shock me at all. I could tell that she was full of shit when I saw the messages with my own eyes, but I pretended like this was something that came to me as a surprise. Oh, really? Well, that's what she told me, and I tried to help her out after that, which I've already explained to you. What do you know? What do you mean, what do I know? Has she told you anything? If so, I need to know right now. I was really starting to get pissed off. First of all, I was being mixed into some bullshit for no reason now. Second, getting interrupted during my workouts makes me want to rip off someone's head. She hasn't told me anything and I'm really busy at the moment. Please don't call me again because none of this is actually my business. It is your business. You helped her, you piece of shit. Before I hung up, I told him to fuck off, otherwise I would take this case to a level that he would regret. I mean, obviously I would never kill him or anything, I just tried to come up with some dumb shit to scare him. I got a bit frustrated too. Why the actual fuck would that girl call a psycho who obviously didn't like her? It was clear that he was mad because he thought I somehow helped her, which I still don't understand what he meant by that. So, on to the rest of the story. My neighborhood is quiet, and my town is small, so it's not hard for anybody to find anyone. It's as simple as pasting someone's phone number in a specific website and their address will most likely show up. And eventually, I happened to get a little visit. As I said, the neighborhood is very quiet after midnight, and while being in bed, watching some bodybuilding videos for entertainment, I started to hear someone driving towards my area. Well, that's not normal at this time, but it happens. Eventually, I heard a car park right outside my property behind my garden, which goes a little bit uphill filled with stones and flowers. So I couldn't see the car from that point on, but I heard someone opening the car door and locking it. What the fuck was going on? I quickly grabbed my tank top and shorts. After that, I would just be silent, trying to listen for every sound that I could get. I opened my window quietly, just to be able to hear a little bit more. I could hear the man walk up the little uphill part of my garden, which made some sounds because of the stones. I won't lie, I was scared as shit. I couldn't see him either, because everything behind my garden is blocked from my point of view by tall cements for the garage. The garden uphill leads to the balcony where a big glass wall is, and that's where my little sister's room is. I went to the exit of my door and quietly walked out. I walked to the cement stairs at the side of my property, which leads me to the exact same spot as him. I could hear footsteps, and I quietly walked up the cement stairs. Then I caught a glimpse of the guy. Probably the guy I was speaking on the phone with. Keep in mind, I still don't know what the hell he wants from me and why the fuck that junkie woman called him in the first place at the gas station. I know nothing. My adrenaline was high, but got almost to its peak when he was right outside my little sister's glass wall. I was scared, but also really pissed off. No way he's going in there or trying at all. At the top of the cement stairs, I walked quick but silent until I saw that he could hear someone walk behind him just a few feet away. Then, I ran as fast as I could and pushed him with all my anger, leading him to get smashed into the wall beside my sister's glass wall, before I proceeded to get over him and hold my palm over the side of his face, pushing it down while asking what the fuck he wants. My little sister woke up screaming, which also woke my mother up. She ran out and asked what the hell was going on. Why my dad isn't home is another story, but anyways, my family's facial expression was filled up with fear and I told my mom to call the cops. The man said nothing, just laying still with his left hand wrapped around my right wrist because of the pressure I was holding his face down with, while my left hand was holding him down between his biceps and shoulders. He was literally resting for a few seconds before starting to resist like a horse again, but he ran out of energy fast. I would ease my palm off of his face so that he could get his head up a little bit, only to smash it down again with anger. Both he and I were breathing heavily. I stopped asking questions and my mother was on the phone with the police, always reacting with fear when the man started to resist again, but I told her it was under control. It didn't take long before the cops showed up and arrested the guy. I told them the whole story about both the girl and the guy. They were both just regular fucking drug addicts and have both been in prison previously for it. I was scared as shit and still to this day don't know why I had to be involved in this. Maybe he was just a paranoid psychopath. My lesson to you, never let some creepy stranger borrow your personal phone for situations like this. If it sounds dangerous, simply call the police to help them, and if they don't want you to, then just leave it. If you're at work, like I was, use the work phone. I had just started working a graveyard shift at a grocery store in a big city on the West Coast. We were sat in the middle of a residential area and we had at least one cashier on the floor at all times. The other cashier I worked with every night was named Barry. Barry was an old man who used to live in Chicago. I didn't learn a whole lot about him while I worked with him, as he was pretty secretive about everything. He was a nice guy though. He was the perfect example of a grumpy old man. You know, the kind that would yell, "Get off my lawn," and was absolutely fearless. They had a hired third-party security guard, and I use the word security loosely since it would be illegal for him to actually apprehend anyone. His job was to patrol the aisles in an effort to ward off thieves. On this particular evening, as I started my shift, I'd noticed a gentleman in nothing but dirty sweats lounging at our outdoor furniture display up at the front, which was only a couple yards from my station. I just ignored him and did my job since it took more brain power than I could actually spare, and it was the busiest time of the day for us. He stayed there for a good while until our security walked up to start a conversation and he got scared and left pretty quickly. Fairly soon after, Barry approached me and told me that the guy was a local vagrant and that if he comes back that I should let him know because he had a history of harassing customers, especially for money. Seeing as I'm a very short girl with, at the time, very little strength, I told him I would let him know and went back to scanning items. Hours passed by, and when I returned to my station, I see him at the display again. Immediately, I called back to Barry and let him know what's going on. I'd never seen someone get from the back of the store to the front in such a short amount of time. Right behind him is the security guy. The store is pretty much empty at this point, except for maybe 2 or 3 lonely shoppers getting their 2 a.m. fix of chocolate, mac and cheese, or other comfort food. I try to keep my head down as Barry confronts the homeless man. I can hear the man start to get a little bit angry, slowly building up his yelling until he startles me, and I turn around to watch what's going on. Hand on the phone to call the police if I need to. The man stands up and he's really tall, like really tall compared to all 3 of us. We all hovered around the low 5 foots and he shoves Barry back. Barry went to move forward and the guy pulls out a long knife that he must have taken from our minuscule aisle of kitchenwares, yelling about how he needs some place to sleep, and he swings at Barry, who dodged it. Security hightailed it back to me at that point and I called the police. In the meantime, it was just us 3 and this crazy hobo with a knife and an intent to hurt someone. Barry gave him space and kept his attention while I talked to dispatch. It would take them 5 minutes to get to the store. Barry tried his best to talk the man out of his frenzy, and for a while it seemed like it was working. Then the guy started advancing with a white-knuckle grip on the knife. Barry stood his ground for the most part, but the man caught up too quick and swung again. Barry tripped, and I thought for sure that was it. I was going to watch someone get stabbed and there wasn't anything I could do about it. Apparently, I had made some sort of noise because he turned back and made eye contact with me. I couldn't read his face. My mind was just blank. The security guy decided now was his time to shine and he yelled something. I can't even remember what he yelled. Probably something about the police. The man bolted and I watched through the storefront windows as he ran around the building and disappeared into the dark. The police eventually arrived and searched for him. They caught him, I heard, and he was sent to prison for aggravated assault, I believe. Barry was grumbling louder than usual, his way of expressing shock, I suppose, and we both finished our shifts before going home. That wasn't the last time I ever witnessed scuffles between Barry and aggravated people, but it was the only time they ever had a weapon. This story takes place only about 9 months ago or so, and it still works me up to this day. I've worked at GameStop for about 4 years and in multiple places, some sketchier than others. I'm a key holder there, and I often close the store, so I'm normally out around 10 p.m. The last 2 years, I've been at a rather nice GameStop in a better area, so I had discarded my habits that I had accumulated over the years for my own safety. I'm about 5'3" and pretty small. I'm aware that I'm a target for, well, nothing good. Anyway, it was about 10 p.m. and I had just closed with another employee. I don't have a car, so I had to wait for my ride, which was not out of the ordinary. She was running a little more late than usual, however. Whoever I close with always offers to wait with me until my ride shows up, but I always assure them that they can leave and that it's fine. The GameStop I work at is in a decent-sized strip mall plaza with many other stores, including a Walmart that's a little more than a quarter mile up the parking lots. Most of the stores closed a little sooner than us, so we were typically the last ones out anyway. The associate I closed with walked across the lot and got into his car, waited about 5 minutes, and then left and waved his way by me. As he did, I noticed another car further back in the lot. It was the only car left, and I had just assumed it was someone else getting out a little late from their job. My eyes follow the associate's car all the way to the end of the plaza until he's gone. I check my phone and my batteries are low, but I can see that it's about 10:10. I was sure my ride would be here any minute. That's when I saw the other cars start to move. They must have been sitting there because no one had walked to the car since I had left my store. They didn't turn their headlights on, which was odd to me, and started the gut-wrenching feeling that it was a little weird and that I should leave. But, for whatever reason, I stayed. The car drives around the lot and then slows down, near me. At this point, I have my phone out just in case, and I have my messenger bag on my shoulder in case I need to ditch it fast. He pulls up about 15 feet from me, just outside of the first handicap spot. The car stops and is still running. It's an old, gross, beat-up two-door car with rust all over it. The door opens and no lights come on. Out steps a very large man that was most likely about 6'2". He had brown, messy hair and was brolic but still lanky. His clothes were stained with sweat or grease and he looked very unwelcoming. He had casually gotten out of the car, but then he turns around and clicks his fucking front seat upward and immediately, with the door open, starts walking fast toward me. I hadn't even realized it, but I was already on my feet, backing away from him. He kept eye contact and made a gesture to come back. Basically from there, I turned around and booked it to the Walmart parking lot. The sketchy guy got into his car and pulled around and started driving toward me. I don't know him. The store had been closed for over an hour. And it's dark and the lot is empty. There is no reason to be approached like this. He still had his headlights off, which absolutely terrifies me. Because I can hear him, but it's still very dark and my heart is pounding in my ears. I can't tell if he's right behind me or if he's leaving. I peek back and he's still slowly driving toward me. At this point, I'm certain I'm about to be shoved into a car and sold into human trafficking or some bullshit, and I'm in absolute panic, but all I can do is run. The Walmart was still so far away, and I was sure he would probably try to actually make an effort to get me in the car by then. I felt like he drove slowly behind me to tease me and scare me. But then I saw a big truck in the very back of the Walmart parking lot with about 5 people around it. There was another car, and their hoods were up. Someone was jump-starting a car. I hauled ass to the left in their direction since they were closer, and as soon as I felt like I was in earshot, I started screaming for them to help and that a car was chasing me. The group looked shocked, and for all I know they could have been sketchy too, but I had to take that chance. A man and a woman ran towards me and met up with me. I was pretty nervous, winded, and shaken up. I could hardly talk, but I looked back and saw the taillights of the car driving away. I walked towards the rest of the group, which was just a few people attempting to jump another car. I told them that a big guy was following me and that I felt very unsafe. They offered to call the cops, but I wasn't even able to see his plates, and I really just wanted to be home at that time. The 2 women of the group and 1 man were kind enough to walk me into the Walmart and even waited with me for my ride to arrive. I thanked them and went home. After that happened, I requested to open for about a week so I wouldn't be at the store after dark. The next day, I told my boss the time that it happened and we both watched the DVR in the back. It was incredibly uncomfortable to watch, but we forwarded it to the local police. The police didn't end up finding much, but they now keep a squad car patrolling the plaza from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. I don't take chances anymore. I wait inside the store until my ride calls me and I can see them. The whole thing really bothers me. I always felt like that type of thing only happened in the city or in unsafe places, but not to me, not here. I haven't discussed it much since, but it still bothers me. You're really never safe.